All right. Well, welcome to the show, everybody. I'm Andy Benson, and I have Debbie Duncan here with me.
Hello. Yay. Fun night. We're going to talk about UFOs, right?
Right.
Yeah, I've got some stories, so it's kind of crazy. Um, the bad thing is that one of the people that I really want to be on the show that has a story that they were abducted by aliens couldn't make it on. So I'm hoping that that will happen sometime in June. We'll try to get that person to come on. That'll be really good. So we'll try for that. I'm just trying to get everything right here. So that's going to be really cool. And so we have a lot of stuff that we're going to go through first because I need to. What this is on the Wednesday shows are letting you know, like, what psychics do, like part of the things that happen to us in the day and what we work on and all of that. And then we get to talk about some of the subjects about, everything paranormal. And then on Friday, we have a show, which is where we get to really interact with you guys. And then we do free readings. And we also give away gift cards. This Friday, we're going to be celebrating the release of our latest book, which is The Little Book of Big Evil. And Andy and I wrote this together, and it's really fun. It is True Tales from the Dark Realm, which are this is about some of the dark entities that are out there. And then we went ahead and we actually got stories from people that have encountered these entities, and it's in our book. So we're going to celebrate it. We're going to have a lot of people from the Dead Talk paranormal group, which is investigators and mediums here in San Diego, California, are going to be over here actually at my house. We're going to broadcast in a room, and we are going to be having desserts and really celebrating this book. So it's going to be really fun. So I'm going to go ahead and turn something off for just a sec. There we go. Sorry. Well, that didn't work. Go ahead. Talk for a minute about our book, Andy.
Yeah, so pretty excited. We just have a few little changes that we're doing on the book. And here, I'll make myself big here. So here's the book. We're pretty excited with the cover, everything. Just a couple changes, and then we're hoping to have it for sale by, I would say, Friday, actually.
I think
the day of the party. So
it'll be for sale on Amazon.com. We don't have it ready for Kindle yet, do we?
No.
We have to work on that. Maybe another week or something. We'll have it on Kindle.
Yep.
And this is Andy and I together. This is our second book. And we also have Many Ways of Manifesting. And so this is my fourth book. So we have author pages on Amazon, and we're going to be putting the link on Facebook on Psychicfixes fan page. And so that you can go see all about us and all the books that we've done. And so, yes, it's going to be for sale. It's really neat because we've got some really great, interesting stories. And I'm really excited to, we'll get in a little bit Friday, a little bit more into some of the stories, but there's a story that comes from someone who's actually told a story on television. And so we're excited that we've got the scoop, so to speak. So that's really a great read. It's fun. You learn a little bit about what we've encountered in our personal stories, which are which I think people would find to be kind of scary, don't you think, Andy?
Oh yeah, definitely. And it's amazing. When I was reaching out to people for stories, there was people telling me how similar experiences that they had and they didn't really have like a term or a name. A lot of the evil entities that people talk about, they assume are all just demonic, just the term demon. And there's actually more to that than, if you really break it down.
There's that hierarchy. There's the
Right.
lower energy, and you can go all the way up. And then we really feel like, I personally feel like the fallen would be the top. That would be
Yeah.
the strongest. And what I know of things, that is something that a human can't challenge. That would be something an archangel would have to challenge or take care of, because that's the way it's been through from the beginning of time. So but we have some experience. We have people that have experience. We have artist renderings of what they saw. You have artist rendering of what I saw at the end of my bed. And that was it wasn't scary. That would scare most people. It just infuriated me. I was so mad. Because you know me, I'm always going after the entity, and I wanted to go down and put my hand right through what I saw. And it didn't work out well. So, but we'll talk about that later. Or you could just, get the book. We have a really good price that we set for the book.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really excited about offering it to where it's going to be affordable. So anyway, that's Friday. And Andy, so what we usually do is a little, back and forth. We usually, guys, have another guest with us. And we didn't have the person with the experience from the UFO. So it's us today, and Jackie is out, and she'll be back on Friday. So we usually kind of find out what's going on and what we're working on. And we're still working on the book, but maybe tonight we're done, right, Andy?
Right.
How long has it been? It did take us a while to do this.
Oh, I think our idea came out last, I would have to say August is when we really pitched. Yeah, we pitched the idea, and then we planned for October release. But then when we got to thinking about the stories and stuff, we didn't have, I'm glad we have the stories that we do, because it actually, for the price that we're offering, it's about 107 pages, and it's perfect. We actually get a spine. We get a title on our spine. So I think this kind of set the bar for us going forward.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah.
And we waited for the right stories. You know how things weren't just meshing up, like people weren't giving us. I had someone that's very well known overseas that has great stories, but it wasn't meshing up to get the stories. And so when that happens, we have to go, okay, we're supposed to wait. And we did wait. And it got us to tweak things and get more things and get all the artist conceptions drawn and everything we wanted. And so hopefully tonight, I'm going to say midnight at least, we're going to be finished with the book. We put it to bed, and it'll be ready to order on Amazon on Friday. So it's exciting. I'm really glad, but I've already started on book number 5. I already have my number from the Library of Congress.
Oh, yay.
Yeah. And then Andy and I think this year, but we have a real serious book that we're going to be doing together that we just think is going to change the world. So we'll be working on that. But aside from that, like yesterday was completely readings all day. And Andy, I know you're busy with your readings, but thank you for picking up on getting back to everybody on social media for me, because I mean, when I get so many and I have such a long wait list, I have to stay on task and get that done. And I know you're super busy too, and you're so gifted, and I'm so glad that you're being so successful in your readings. It's just the feedback that I see is just phenomenal. So you are just so great.
Well, thank you.
And so anyway, and Friday's going to be I just want to cut loose and have fun on Friday. And I got to go out and get those gift cards. So people come to Facebook, Psychic Fixes page, 6:30 p.m. Pacific. And you can do the math on where your time zone is. But we're going to give away some gift cards, and I got to go on a shopping spree. It's going to be fun. But Andy, so do you have any projects that you're working on?
I do, actually. I'm still doing I got all the images back for the tarot card deck. So I have all the sketches. So we were missing 8. And I don't know what my deal was. I guess I just assumed the file was right and I had everything. But I got that, so I could probably, if I have time tonight or tomorrow, maybe I'll do it tomorrow, I'll get the order in and order a deck and just see what it looks like.
Is it the images that you already showed me that you shared?
A few of them. Yeah, okay. I think so.
Okay, well, I can't wait. I can't wait.
Yeah, I'll have to send you one. And yeah, just gonna do some edits on the book and then readings to do. The other things that I have, I'm planning on a new website coming up, but I'll announce that down the road. We'll just see about that. So
can I just throw this at you? Would you consider us doing a Zoom room book publishing workshop together?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, because I think that we should do that. I've been very successful doing it in person, and I'm thinking now that we've got things together, I don't want to give that away, but now that you know that our ducks are in a row, that I think that we could do that, because we have so much experience doing this, and it's made it a very easy process. And I think that we should do that. And I don't know how many people we would have in there, but I can see us going ahead and doing that together. And, you take half, I take half, and we really do this because people need to know that it's relatively an easy process. It doesn't have to be hard, and it's cost effective. And I think that we should entertain the thought. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
With the book publishing. Yeah, because I'm almost finished with the manual.
Don't give anything away. Not too much.
So, yeah. So it should be pretty easy to follow.
Okay. Maybe I think that we were thinking, okay, there's a big thing that we were going to do is start a missing persons group. But I really want to kind of shoot for that starting at the end of August.
Yeah.
I just think that would be better because the people will be going on vacations and stuff. Or September 1st, we start that. So maybe we can do a summer one and see how that goes, or do it 2 or 3 times a year or something like that. I'm looking at the calendar for May. That does not help me. But I think that we should definitely do some kind of a conference thing, and that'd be so great. That'd be so great. Okay, so hopefully for the summer, I would hope. Maybe we have to shoot for July or something, but you just let me know. I'm going to just do a question mark there. Anyway, are we ready to talk about UFOs?
Yeah.
I got totally mesmerized a while ago because I got on this website that was supposed to be about aliens and everything, and it ended up being orbs. We have to have a show that at least half the show is talking about orbs, and I've invited some of those people to come on and tell their story because it was so amazing about, them just hovering right in front of them and stuff. It was just crazy. And you know how, Andy, we get on the internet, and then you reading a story, and then the person goes and says, and then the little green man went down the street and got a Starbucks or something, and you're going, oh shoot, I took all that time and it was a fake, or the people are nuts. The thread that I have that I read, and I'll send it to you later. It is so credible. These stories are credible. They're not outlandish or anything like that, and they're very, very credible stories. And so you're getting one after another, and they're all similar. So I'm like, okay, I hope to get these people, a couple of them, in on a show, and on a Wednesday show, and then be able to tell the stories, because I go, okay, I believe these people. But nonetheless, the UFO stuff, I didn't dive into that as much, because I have my own stories on them. And first thing I want to just say, and I know you want to talk about a UFO incident, but my dad did work at Area 51. And he was under, clauses of privacy. He had top security clearance, and he had a badge. And depending on the color of the badge was if it was top secret or not. And I always, growing up, thought, oh, yay, I know top secret stuff, because I would know when my dad was going to go away on the plane. That's all I knew. But I didn't know any government secrets, people. I was privy, though, to seeing some stuff at the climatic lab at Eglin Air Force Base. That type of thing, you can see some things that are not classified, but you couldn't see other things that were. But my dad worked on the missiles, and he worked his way up into being in charge of some things. I'm not going to give that away, but he ended up going to Area 51. He had to, for so many years after he retired, could not talk about anything, because what they did is, like, if you talked about anything, you'd lose your retirement, right? And you were in trouble. So, but he did say, eventually he did say that he actually saw nothing there. What a letdown that was. I was waiting for him to say he saw, something. But I'm going to tell you this, because of the person is deceased now, a story came out of somebody who worked with my father. And what it was is that person said that, yes, there's aliens. And what his job was is to work on the equipment and the, jets or whatever that were damaged by being attacked by them. And this person was a very credible person. So I don't know if it's true or not, but I know that this was said. So here we go. But if you're at Area 51, honestly, it's not going to be like the warehouse is open for everybody to see. My father worked on something else, probably back then, missiles or launch stuff. And so, he wouldn't be privy to go in everywhere. I mean, it's restricted. So I don't know. Andy, do you think that there's anything at Area 51?
I do. And also, I believe, I actually haven't tried it yet, but the, what is it? The Google Maps. So Google Maps, I believe it's where you can't even zoom down. But yeah, I used to watch some of these old, like Unsolved Mysteries, these old TV shows and stuff, and they'd always have stories on psychics and UFOs and how they found the aircraft, and the second that something landed, military would swoop right in. So, yeah.
Well, you want to know something? I was going out of state, And I'm in Southern California, and there's a lot of desert back roads. And for some reason, who was with me wanted to go the back way. And I'm like, okay. So in my car, and I always drive in the middle of the night. 2 a.m. is a good time for me to go anywhere. You get through traffic or whatever, but we're actually way out in the middle of nowhere. So in the desert, you know, I know a lot of people know whoop-de-doos and stuff. There's a lot of this, you know, a lot of that stuff through the desert, shifting sands and stuff. So here I was driving in the middle of nowhere, and I go down, and as I come up, oh my gosh, these lights came right into in this loud noise right in front of us. And we were like, oh my gosh, is this like is this, what are we seeing? You know, a UFO, what are we seeing? And it was a helicopter. It was, you know, the only thing I could think of is that they were looking to see if there was drugs or whatever, but it's pitch dark. Are they really going to see me? I mean,
Yeah.
And, you know, I could have just crashed because it was like, as I came up over, room right at us. So, and they didn't do anything, but I go, where is there something out here that we don't know about? That was in the Borrego. I think that was like the Borrego Desert or the Mojave or something. And I don't know how far out I was from where I live. So, but I remember that was like, oh my gosh, you know, it was a surprise. And, but really for a minute there, you know, because I personally have not seen a UFO, but I've got UFO stories. But when I saw that, I'm like, is that what I'm seeing? And then we knew Spotlight and everything. Shoot, it's real people. Darn it. But nonetheless, it was interesting. Also, I always remember probably the first UFO story I heard was from my sister. And I just messaged her and I said, you have a UFO story. And her husband was a very intelligent, professional guy. And they would go out and they'd go more like, probably to the dunes past El Centro and Yuma over there with their dune buggies and stuff. And I was very young, and they went out there and they were with other professional people, and they'd have campfires. And one night they were sitting there and they looked up wherever they were in Arizona, and they looked up and they could see the lights up in the sky. But what they saw was objects, you know, in unison, and objects doing maneuvers. It wasn't anything natural. And then they saw them make these sharp turns and stuff. And they were all sitting there going, we don't have anything that does that. Then they were calculating how high is that? And how far is that from the nearest bases, at least the nearest bases that they know of. And then they said, we don't have anything. So real UFOs, you know, and my sister came back and said, we don't know what it is, but we could have sat there all night. It was doing these maneuvers together, and then breaking off and doing sharp angles and all kinds of stuff for hours and hours. So they just said, you know, we don't have anything like that. When I was little, since my dad was in the business, he would have us take the lawn chairs outside in the driveway, and we'd sit, and he'd wait and he'd say, okay, everybody up, look, and follow. So I knew, he knew all the satellites. So if he got one launched, he would tell us, would not tell us anything until he says, come out back on the hill and sit down on the picnic bench and look. And then we would see the Vandenberg launch, because he knew about those. But he could check every satellite. So he would, you know, me, it's like a bunch of lights. I can't find anything. Where's the dipper? Where's the dipper? But he could just see it and then show it, and then we'd actually sit and watch it go by, and yeah, yay. That was our fun. So I equate that little light, seeing the satellite, was something like what my brother-in-law and my sister saw with their friends out in the desert. So, you got to look at that and say, then what was that, guys? If we don't have anything, then what was that? Really? But I want to save my really good story for the end. So what you have one about the Phoenix Lights, right?
Right. Yeah. I think it was last year, or maybe it was a couple of years ago. I got really interested in the UFOs. I've always been kind of interested in the phenomenon of it, but I didn't realize that there was a huge event that occurred in March of 1997, and thousands of people had witnessed. It was an evening of probably, I don't know, it began about 8 p.m. that night in 97, and it went over different areas of Arizona and over Phoenix. And it's in the shape of a chevron with like 5 or 6 circular lights. So, and all these people have seen it, and they filmed it, and then surrounding that, there's a little backstory. There ended up being like 4. Let's see. Looks like there's a couple stories, but there was 4 men that went out, and they went out on their dirt bikes, let's say, and they ended up going out there, and it was in the middle of the desert outside of Phoenix. And what ended up happening was they were seeing a bunch of military jets and everything flying over them, and they were it was getting so close to them. As night came, I believe what happened was something got shot down, because one of the missing men that went through this, ended up missing, he, because they have footage of this back then, they had it taped on their helmet and everything. This is before GoPro was famous. But anyways, the man, he had filmed it, and he ended up thinking that it was a downed aircraft because his brother was in the military, and that's what happened to him. So he went to go check on it, and it ended up being a UFO. There was, I think, an alien dragged one of them. And
oh gosh, I want to read the whole thing now.
Yeah,
I don't.
And then military stopped to save 2 of them, but then they got taken before that could even happen. And then this is actually a documentary. It's on well, you can search it. It's called The Phoenix Incident. So it's from 2015. They call it a conspiracy thriller, because they're saying that it was bears that killed him, but they don't have the evidence of the bodies that were missing. Maybe a few bones.
Are going to eat everything.
Yeah. So it's pretty amazing. They ran into one of the people that was from Heaven's Gate cult from 97. So the Hale-Bopp comet is where that cult believed that they'd end up on this, on the comet, and end up, by killing themselves, that they would go up and ride the comet.
They actually did that so many miles from my house. That was so bizarre.
Yeah.
It was a horrible time for everyone that lives here. It was just really horrible. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I just remember how crazy that was, and then I was just watching part of this documentary before we started. I mean, I couldn't finish it. I would have loved to have finished it, but before we just got on live, and one of the cult members was part of this incident, this UFO incident, and these four men that disappeared ended up going to the compound before everything happened, and so that guy was a suspect. He ended up in prison for something, but a lot of the evidence that they came up with, they just top secret. So, probably due to national security, but it's
Okay,
pretty
I'm gonna
interesting.
watch. Let's do this. I want to look into that, and then we're going to have another one on UFOs and aliens, and we're going to have guests on. But I'd like to do a reading on the guys that are gone.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay.
and look and see what happens. I mean, I have never done a reading for people with aliens, so why not?
Yeah.
Okay, but I do think I want to watch it and to look a little bit more at it, and then I can do that live. I can do it live during the show and
Okay.
see what we get.
Yeah.
Because I'll get the story. I'm just going to make a note here so that I make sure that we do that. We will always want to follow up. Uh, yeah, we'll do a UFO show, and we'll have some people on, and we will do a reading to see what happened with those men. That's
Yeah.
great.
And what I found when I did the research on this, I was kind of thinking, is this the same one that I watched before? No, there's another story. Same incidents, but it's three men. I believe it was three men, maybe four. They went camping out in the desert. Well, their Winnebago or whatever broke down, so they had to go search, and they were searching, and they have live footage as well. The parents have released that, um, and that one's spooky. That one creeped me out because when they were in the Winnebago at night, it's the night of the Phoenix Lights, so things were rattling the Winnebago, and it just I guess they found it all torn up to shreds. Like something tore it up,
Mm.
and these guys went missing as well.
Oh
So they've
my gosh.
never been found.
Well, let me
So
tell. Do you have anything else about the Phoenix Lights?
no,
Okay, let me tell you this because it ties right into Arizona. And I really feel like Arizona's if you want to see a UFO, go there. So let me tell you guys this absolutely true story. Um, so I am a lot younger than I am now. And I was hosting something for the US Forest Service. Okay. We were having a party with a lot of the employees. And I hit it off with this one guy. We talked about everything. And then he says, "Let me tell you the story. I'll tell you a good UFO story." He said it really happened to him. And you know me, I'm like, okay. And so the story that I got was that he was driving a pickup truck down Interstate 8, and he was going towards, I think he was into Arizona and already on his way. And it was nighttime. And he said that he saw like lights up in the sky. And so it's dark. If you guys have ever been on Interstate 8 to this day, because I used to drive it every month and go to Arizona, to Phoenix, you'll be the only one on the street. You think it's not busy all the time. And
mm,
so he's on it. There's nobody around. He sees these colored lights in the sky. So he goes off road. He sees some kind of road or something. He goes off road and he goes towards it. And there's like a little hill. And then he parks the truck and he gets out. And I'm going to tell you what he said. And he was so credible, this guy. This guy was a lookout in a fire tower. Okay. So he's an observer. Okay. So he told me, he goes, honest to God's truth. He said, there was a black object that had come down, and it had colored lights all around it, and it made no sound. No sound. And he said, and like portholes, so you could see activity in there. But what got me was the fact that the place we were at was government property. And he said, you know the compound we're in now? And I said, yeah, it's 5 acres. He said, that's approximately the size of the object. And it wasn't on the ground, it was above the ground. And I'd be like, did you go over there? If I was by myself, I'd probably second, think, oh, I don't know if I'm going to go walk over there. But anyway, he said no. He said, I really couldn't get myself to go over there. I just couldn't. I was watching it. And of course, it lifted off at some point and took off. So I heard this story and I was like, wow, that's really something. Now, let me try to think back. I had to be 30 years old, something like that. I don't know. So I heard this story. It seemed really credible. It was amazing. Okay, so there we go. Now, I had gotten married, and I was talking with my husband and my mother-in-law, and they said they want to go see some people. Now we're going to go a big stretch of time here, like let's say it was a good dozen years later. They want to go see some people in La Mesa, California, just old friends of her husband's who had passed away and everything. They, a working man, a couple, a normal couple. We went to this normal house in La Mesa, lovely home, lovely people. And what happens? We sit down at night and they go, do you want to hear a story? And we're all like, yeah. He said, well, we were out in Borrego in an overflow camping campground. And he said, so most people were over here camping in their RVs and stuff. So we were with just a few over in another place. He said there was so much racket and so much noise in the middle of the night. We went out, and he said, we looked up, and there were all these gray helicopters, but with no markings. No markings. No military, no nothing. And they were up in the sky, and all these lights and stuff. And he said it was just really crazy. And so they were going over, and then they go, then we saw these colored lights. And so I'm like, okay. And he said, then we saw this object, because it was darker than nighttime. Nighttime, you couldn't see any stars and stuff. I mean, these people are retired. They're, 60 some years old. They're not crazy people. And they both are there nodding their head. We saw this object, and then equated it to be the size of like that 5-acre compound object up in the sky. And they said, and the helicopters are gone. He said, we heard no noise. And it went over. It went over us. And he said, my goodness, this was crazy. He said it was that big, both him and his wife, it was that big. And then I'm sitting there going, where have I heard that before? And then I went, oh my gosh, when I was young, and I was hosted that party, and that lookout guy told me the same exact description. So I go, guess who believes in UFOs? I've got credible people telling me the same thing, at least a dozen years or more apart were those stories. And I go, okay, you guys, there's something up there. I don't know if it belongs to, doubtful it belongs to us, but I don't know if it belongs to us. I don't know if it belonged to someone else, but it was getting some kind of a chased or an escort or something through the Borrego Desert. And so there's something there. And but can you imagine the size, Andy? That the size that they were talking about? I never told the story to anybody. And then I go to this house a dozen years later, and they're telling me the same size, the color lights, and it's quiet. And I'm just like, okay, yeah, yes. So I know that for a fact there's something there. I don't want to I'm open-minded to aliens and stuff. Absolutely. But you know how it goes in life. We kind of are a little bit got narrowed into, we're doing readings. God gave us this wonderful, great, thank you, God, gift of being able to help people. So we're kind of doing that. And then we get to see spirits. So we've incorporated that. So there's things that we're working on and doing. And it's hard sometimes to go to, okay, let's start talking about Bigfoot and Loch Ness and aliens and UFOs and then the fairies and the gnomes, or then we're getting spread apart. So I have to, concentrate on what I'm working on. But yeah, I'm open to it. But and then you have the people like the Palladians are, we're going to have somebody on that channels the Palladians that are interdimensional. And so, and the aliens and in the physical. And I just can't spread my mind that far. It's like, wait a minute, I'm working on this, and we're going. Because number one, I would be somebody, you know how the hag froze me. And you know all those alien stories is that you can't move, and I would be so mad. I would be so mad.
And you'd have no clothes on too, because I guess they take you naked. Wow, I don't know. The TV always shows it that way.
I don't want to laugh too much because we have some people that will be coming on that have a similar story to that. Oh. But you know what I'm saying? We can talk about it and everything, but I know there's a lot of people that are absolutely want this out, and I wanted it out. And when I was in school, I was activity coordinator, so as an officer in the ASB, and I hired George Adamski's secretary. And if you don't know who George Adamski is, go out there and look. He was centered here, not far from where I live. He had a library, and he passed away, and his assistant or secretary took over, and she came with pictures and photographs and everything and his files to talk to us about UFOs. It was UFOs. It was the most successful activity that we had ever at that school. We even had overflow into the library afterwards. The principal let us continue. And so there is such a big thing out there. I followed that Project Blue Book. It was a television series a long time ago. And I just so want, if there are aliens and technology and all that, I want it to come out so bad. I think that the government should be open about that. Absolutely open about that. And I guess they don't want it to be a crisis or people to go nuts, riots or any of that stuff. But I just think that we have a right to know. What do you think, Andy?
Yeah, I agree. Same thing with everything that they keep top secret, like the mind control experiments they've done that have come out in the 70s that the CIA did. I mean, I know there's so much out there that they've kept locked up, and it seems like they always put like 75 years or 80 years after. so that anybody that's alive is no longer able to actually talk about it. I don't know why it has to be so long. But
I read some really good books. Whitley Strieber, of course, had some really great books. And I really wish I would have had the titles tonight to talk about it, but I'll put them on Facebook. There was this one that came out that the person worked for the Pentagon or whatever that actually went into working there and being privy to see some of the equipment and stuff. And, you know, there's all these stories about where do we get the microwave, you know, or this or that or the other. And where did our technology come from? So I'll see if I can't find that. One book was just riveting because there was actual like pictures of documents and stuff. Now, the one thing, since, you know, of course, I worked for a library and retired from the library. The fact is that you can't always put everything as nonfiction. A lot of times when you do that, they have to, because they don't really have evidence, they have to make it a fictional book. But there's some things that are in nonfiction. So I want to make a list for people of really good reading, interesting reading about abductions and about government cover-ups, because that's definitely what we have going on. And I have a feeling that there's like, this is my take, is that there's probably even the presidents don't know. I feel like the military are probably grabbing on and holding some of this information, and they're the ones who are deciding where it goes. And I think that which president wanted to know if there was UFOs? Was that Jimmy Carter? Who was that?
yeah.
You know, and it's like, come on. I think there's some people that are just holding all of it to themselves. You know, maybe something was written sometime that said that, you know, this is only going to stay with these people over here to handle, you know.
Yeah, I also heard that I think JFK was the last president that was against like secret societies and cover-ups and stuff like that. So that kind of leads his demise and his assassination in conspiracy theory as well.
Oh, that's true.
But
Yeah, I
it's
never got into that, but I remember the day that he was shot. And I happened to be home that day from school. And that was very sad for the country. And then, of course, you know, eventually all the theories came up. And that's going to happen to a lot of the bigger events in the world. They're going to do, you know, go right in there, and they're going to try to do it. I think it's a good thing, because I think that people need to investigate. Yeah. And not just take it for granted what they're told. Absolutely. Yeah. So I know now we believe in UFOs and all of that, guys. I haven't met an alien. I remember George Adamski had a picture of a guy from Venus in front of a UFO, and that's when I was going, I don't know that anybody could live in Venus, but they said like he came here from Venus, and here's a picture of him. They took a picture of him. So, you know, I'm very skeptical to that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Well, they look just like us. Come on. Yeah. I watch Star Trek.
The other idea that I don't know, you know how you can kind of go down the rabbit hole in your mind when, especially with this, you know, mediumship and psychic work and stuff. And I always have had a curious mind. But I've always wondered, okay, so, you know, are aliens really demons, or are they actually their own separate species? You know, there's this.
There's so many. We have a variety of things to do. I don't, you know, demons to me are connected to the spirit realm and God and the angels and all of that stuff. But and then we know that we're biological creatures, right? And I absolutely go with all the earths and planets and atmospheres and everything out there. If there was life here, there can be life somewhere else. To me, people are saying absolutely not. Maybe they're even scientists or whatever. Absolutely not. I'm going, but we're here. Come on.
Yeah.
And God could have created life somewhere else, or some kind of organic matter went somewhere and everything was right, and out came whatever. But absolutely can be, and so I'm open-minded that way. But as far as the demons and stuff, I think that we have different things. We have the physical world, we have an astral world, so to speak. But I'm not one. One of my friends, God bless him, has one of the highest IQs in the world, and he explained time to me and explained dimensions and all of that. So there's a lot to this, guys. A lot to it. When you start thinking that here's time and it's ongoing at the same time, and then we have different dimensions, and then we have aliens, and then we have all the mysteries. I mean, I've done a lot of stuff lately on people, still looking for Bigfoot and all of these different things. So there's so much, and I'm like really sure there's stuff in the ocean that we still don't know about.
Oh, yeah.
Until it gets entangled in plastic and floats to the surface. I've been watching all those things on the plastic in the ocean. It's just awful. We got to do.
What if you drilled down the earth and then tried to drill as far to the other side?
No, somebody's doing that now. Somebody's going to drill
through.
I put a thing on Facebook about, like, isn't this a sci-fi movie already? Because, where they crack the mantle or something. We do stupid, crazy things. The world does. And people are crazy and doing crazy things to each other. But definitely the environment. My son just went to China, and I had to buy him the mask, and it wasn't good enough. When he got there, he had to have the more, engineered mask, and I'm like, oh my God, like, you're never going there again. No, he would never go again. But it is like, to be on the Great Wall and to look, I think it was Beijing, and it's foggy and you can't see in front of you, is, the world is suffering. I don't know. It seems like it's gone really fast in its demise. And as much as we want to, like, save the ozone layer in this, we did a good thing trying to close that hole up in Alaska or something. And now I think they found something else. And I go, this is not good. And we don't have a system where everybody will work on that.
Yeah.
And that's really too bad, because we may be thumbing a ride from the little green men. Could you get me off of here, type of thing? Or maybe the people are going to Mars. I don't know. I still am disappointed we're not living on the moon. What the heck?
Right? Yeah.
No. But I don't know. We shall see what happens in the future, and I hope it would be really cool if the aliens do come and you know what? It would shake up things and maybe unite the world if some aliens did come. But then we have these crazy people that would just get out their old shotgun. You remember? Do you remember, what is it? My favorite show, The Day the Earth Stood Still.
I never saw that. I thought you were going to say like Tremors or something, but they came from the ground.
You guys have to go way back on this one. And so, the reaction to the alien is to shoot the alien. We're going to kill the alien. So, probably they're not coming out just so that nobody kills them all. But, guys, if they can get here, they're probably more advanced. They could probably wipe us out or something. But I don't know. I have a feeling that they may be like people. They may be friendly, and there are probably some that aren't. So we better watch out. But I can't wait till we have some people on that talk about their experiences. The one person that I'm hoping to come on actually has the missing time. Actually, yeah.
That's funny. That was just in my head now about missing time. Yeah.
That's my
Read
running
my
joke.
mind.
When I run out of time, I go, the aliens took me. Yeah, this person lost hours and found things that she had with her even outside that should have been inside and things. I don't want to give away her story, but yeah, totally knows that she lost all that time and she was somewhere else.
And
So
people with like radiation um, exposure, like big time, where they've driven down the highway and they've seen the big lights and everything, and then the missing time and
they're like Close Encounters.
yeah.
Oh man, when that came out, that was absolutely fantastic. It was the longest darn movie I think that was ever made at the time. And it was so great. I mean, we were riveted to seeing it. And when they finally got up the mountain, he got up the mountain, and that was just like, all the geekiness of everybody just came out. We just thought that was great. But yeah, I loved it. Making the mashed potato mountain. I feel sad, but I'm glad he got to go with them. But yeah, that was like when of course the UFO craze came, and then all the reports and all of that, and then what's really great, all the shows. My most favorite thing are like the 1950s sci-fi shows. you know you, I love a good spaceship. So we'll see. Now we're going to get contacted, and I'm going to hear from you tonight saying, I lost 6 hours, I don't know where I was. My tarot cards were spread all over, and I found them out in the chicken coop. The aliens are chickens. Anyway, we're just about out of time. That was fun and a little silly.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that we got to talk about it. And please, anybody out there, come Friday, Facebook, the Psychic Fixes page, and we'll magically come on at 6:30. We're going to have a lot of people with us, though.
Yeah.
We got people that were have stories in our book, and just people that support us in. We didn't do a sponsor. We're so bad. No, we're really good. Our sponsors do get orders.
They do. And thank you, all of you out there. Our sponsor for this live broadcast is the Chequered Lily Apothecary by Kimberly Bouchu. I've posted in this link in this live video feed a link to her Etsy page and also her Facebook special that she's having. And they're having the last days here of the mermaid. And she does like beauty products, eyeshadow. Let's see what else.
Bath bombs and lipstick and blush, all that stuff. And I just got the eyeshadow called Seance, because she did a whole Halloween line that was based on the Salem witch trials and all spiritualism movement. And it's copper glitter, and I'm going to be wearing that because I'm amazed I'm going to do that, but I'll wear that on Friday. So I thank her for that. And she makes wonderful things, and we really are so thankful for our sponsors, and that we can also help them as well, and that they're so generous to us.
Yeah, so, and it's a one of a kind line, and I mean, her prices, they're outstanding, and some of these specials that she has, just make sure to check out her link. They're only good until midnight tomorrow, so on May 31st. So you'll probably get a really good deal there. Yeah, it says that there's a mini that's free with a purchase of $10 or more.
She has the best names for her line. So the mermaid line is all about the sea and all those things, what you think a mermaid would wear. And she is going to have, I guess, a whole new thing come out after that. But she does. You can still get some of the Halloween line, we'll call it that, and all those great colors. And she wears them, and you can go on to her Etsy shop and see all of that, or the Chequered Lily Apothecary on Facebook. That's a long name. I've said that's a long name. It has meaning for her. But you can go on Facebook, and then she gives out promo codes, specials, and all kinds of things. She runs contests too. I play the contest. I never can win. I never can win. Maybe I'm not supposed to, but I don't see why not. But yeah. But anyway, she has contests. She's a lot of fun and a wonderful person. And we're just so excited. But we do have a new sponsor that is coming maybe in another week. But the Chequered Lily will be sponsoring us for our Friday party. And we thank you for that. And then our new one is a really talented guy that we're going to be doing commercial for him when we have Vicki McDonald here.
Yay!
Vicki's coming on the 8th, right? Friday the 8th. Yeah. Very wonderful medium. You can check her out on Facebook. And she is really good, guys. And she's going to be with us. And we're going to be doing most of the show. We'll be doing free readings for you. And that'll be on the one on Facebook. So it's time to go to the lobby.
Okay. Well, thank you, everybody, for joining in tonight. And great to see you again, Debbie.
You too, Andy. I'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.